we go. So you're in Massachusetts? Is that where you're
Yeah, yeah,
located?
yeah. Western Massachusetts,
Right on, right on. That's cool. I've never been back that way,
as
but I'd
opposed to
love to.
Boston.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Where are you?
I'm
Where
in
are you?
Warrenton, Oregon, right at the mouth of the Columbia River.
Oh, nice, nice,
Yeah, it's starting
dude.
to be a nice day outside today, finally.
Ah,
It's not bad, not bad at all.
ah, Pacific Northwest. I'm telling you, dude. This summer, yeah, me and my partner Lisa
Mhm.
visited Portland
Oh, right
and
on.
traveled around Pacific Northwest a bit, and it was actually my first time in my life
Really?
heading out there, and it was
It's beautiful
amazing.
out here.
I fell in love with 100%,
Yeah, it's beautiful
100%.
out
We
here for
because we were in
sure.
Portland, so we did a lot of hikes, and yeah, we went a lot of hikes in Forest Park.
Oh yeah, Forest
Oh
Park's
man, I
awesome. That's right
was
by
just
the zoo
blown
there,
away
kind
by
of. Yeah, it's right by the zoo there. Forest Park is kind of.
yeah, and just like you feel like you're entering,
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
It's very nice.
the
Yeah, well,
verdant rainforest, yeah.
I live on
I'm
a
telling you,
little
you're
road that
breaking up a little bit.
I'm breaking up.
I'm telling yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's
I'm
see.
wondering if yeah, you're stuttering and things are getting out of sync.
Okay, let me maybe I'll turn my phone off and get that, turn the Wi-Fi off on it. And this
Yeah.
really quick. So you came out here for a cut for a little bit. How long did you stay out here?
T about 10 days.
That's cool. That's
Uh,
cool. Yeah, it is
yeah, and we
beautiful here.
I was very very envious. I love the city, but we went up to we did some hiking and we ended up at Hood River,
Right on.
and then one of my takeaway experiences, we went to the Freem Brewery,
Uh-huh.
and I had a West Coast IPA, and I've kind of fallen off getting into a really hoppy or
Right.
intense IPAs, but that was one of the best beers I've ever had. It
Right
was one
on.
of those epiphany moments where I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm tasting the local drink. Like it makes sense now. Now that I've gone hiking in the skanky woods
Right.
and taken in the old growth forest,
Right
and like,
on.
oh, this is how it's supposed to be brewed
Right.
and imbibed. And
Exactly.
I've been chasing that ever since. Ever since I came back east, I've been like, if someone's trying a West Coast IPA, I'd be like,
Uh-huh.
and now I have this impossibly high standard. Like,
Well, you have to come back here more.
well, I know, absolutely. I plan on it or hope for it. I mean, life allowing.
Right. Yeah, I met a gentleman on. I had him as a guest on here. I think my ninth show, Timur Blakely. He was the
Okay.
president of the Cascade Blues Association
All right.
around here, and he's a judge at the International Blues Convention in Memphis and stuff. Really
Okay.
cool. And he tours with Paul Gilbert. You know,
Okay. Gotcha. Uh-huh.
um, he has been such a cool dude, like music wise.
Mm-hmm.
The blues mostly is what he plays
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and he's opened me up to different kinds of music. Like
Mm-hmm.
you, I came across you, and
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I pretty much just troll Facebook for
Mm-hmm.
somebody. If they have an instrument in their profile picture, I'll stop and look at them, see if they got any music. And I found you on Instagram, and I heard this rhythm that you're putting down. I'm going, that's not folk music. I'm going, that's not folk music. Then I heard
Right,
your
right.
lyric, how your lyrics and stuff, where I go, okay,
Yeah.
that's folky, for sure.
Yeah.
But your musicianship on it is definitely different than I've heard with people, for sure. And it grabbed a hold of me. My co-host should be here any second.
Okay.
He liked it too. He makes
Yeah.
music, and but I love your rhythms that you throw down on those.
Nice. Oh, thanks.
They
Thanks.
they catch me definitely.
Yeah, well, you mentioned blues. I mean, I never wanted to be like a blues singer, blues
Right,
guy. I just don't feel qualified,
right,
let alone having the technical ability to have that swing and to
right.
do it. But it's a huge influence for
Oh
sure,
yeah,
and it creeps in. I mean, the stuff that I listen to, just like the old Delta, Sun House,
Right.
Blind Willie Johnson, Fred McDowell, of course, Muddy Waters,
Right.
but that really raw stuff, Charlie Patton, uh, I've collected quite a bit from that realm. Blind Willie McTell,
Right on. Right on.
uh,
So
Blind Lemon
what got
Jefferson.
you started in music? How did you discover music per
Well,
se?
my road to Damascus moment that's most vivid in my
Hmm.
mind is like the first records I ever bought with my own money
Okay.
were 7-inch 45s. One of them was Bee Gees Staying Alive. The
Right
other
on.
one was AC/DC Back in Black.
Nice.
And I still remember like I was an only child, kind of grew
Right.
up in this quiet house. I still like remember putting on the headphones in the sunlight and the dust and this quiet rural home and putting those on and my brain just exploding at
Right.
that AC/DC riff and just like I didn't know that was possible, that existed in the
Exactly.
world. It was like cosmic, like this energy, that
Yeah.
attitude. And like the Bee Gees too. I mean, that Staying Alive's got that minor key groove to
They,
it.
I've,
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, I appreciate more the music my mom was playing growing up,
Mm-hmm.
except for the best of bread. I, it,
Oh,
she
yeah.
played it for like 2 years straight, on
Yeah.
8 track, and I think I developed a tick from it, a
Yeah.
little bit, but
Yeah.
then I discovered Kiss like for my
Okay.
birthday or Christmas that year. I got Gene Simmons solo record, and I liked
Okay.
that, and got a cousin that married into the family, and
Yeah.
he was playing Iron Man on two strings while listening to Black Diamond by Kiss just as loud as it could go. And I was going,
Yeah.
okay, this is more my speed. This is
Yeah, I know
good.
that. Yeah, right, right,
You
right.
know.
Well, I know what you mean. Like my dad listened to Gordon Lightfoot and it's folk, and I just, it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little over the. I didn't really get into folk music until Bob Dylan, and then I realized that folk music could be badass.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
dark, it could
Definitely.
be sarcastic, it could be
Yep.
funny, it could be poetic, it could be iconoclastic. But
Totally.
before then, to me, folk music was like just kind of, it's either at a
Right.
tepid or performative in like politically, like not
Hmm.
like with balls, but just
Right.
more like oh,
Right.
kumbaya. And I didn't relate with that. I, I related
That's cool.
to the that's a slightly punky edge to it.
Right on. Right on.
Back in the yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm learning about the punk little music a little bit. I've never, I listened to the Ramones,
Mm-hmm.
before, and that was pretty much my intro to punk. But I'm a hard rocker guy, but now that I'm
Yeah.
older, I've been going to a lot of. They have a little shows here in Astoria, which is right next to Warrenton here, and
All right, right on.
have a few little punk shows there every week, and I've been going to those just so I can get some fix my live music Jones,
Yeah, right, right. Well, it's great music
and
to see live, right? The
yeah.
energy. Yeah.
So, I've heard some good music, and that's what I've been finding is, everybody I pretty much had as a guest is I don't know if they're looking for stardom or what, but I know people need to hear their music, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've got the best taste in music, but I know it sounds good,
Hmm.
and I'm developing, likings for way different kinds of genres.
Sure. Well,
And
it's
it's cool.
subjective.
And
Hmm.
and you're not the normal folk guy that I've ever heard for sure. You're throwing some
Yeah.
badass beats in there and stuff.
Right, right. I wanted the music to be like just too dark or metal to be
Right,
folk, but kind of too folk to be metal. That's just what
right,
I was interested in doing.
right on.
So as I'm still working, I'm still writing and recording a lot of material for Buzzard, and I find myself just being able to better integrate the two extremes. So there's some
Yeah,
songs that are I'm getting better at being heavy, and I'm
right,
getting better at being folky, but in a way that fits the aesthetic. And then I'm getting better at blending it together in one song, like
right,
movements.
right.
I'm nowhere near this level, but a band like Opeth, that
Okay,
was one of my aha moments where I saw an artist show me you can do this. There's no rule against
right,
sounding like a 70s
right,
prog band and then transition to death metal and
Yeah.
going from death metal. You sound like Pink Floyd 1 minute and then Morbid Angel the next. I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
in the same song and
Exactly.
really
That's awesome.
right and really good at both. Not
Right.
like, oh, this is kind of a little melodic, but like, just digging in and really writing a genuinely beautiful melody and performing it with full
Right.
commitment and arranging it so
Right.
that if you plucked out the so-called mellow parts of Opeth, which they did on Damnation, which is
Hmm.
a huge influence on my music, but it would stand alone. It's like, this is great
Right.
music. And then the death metal would be, this is some of the best death metal ever made.
Right.
So.
Right. Right
Yeah,
on.
I
That's
didn't know.
cool.
It was right up my alley too. I was like, I like both. And
Yeah.
like, I'm not the only one who listens to death metal and
Right.
70s prog.
Well, that's
Right?
like my co-host. His name's Vincent Volt, and he's
Mhm.
on. I think he's on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, one of the two mostly. But
Yeah.
he. I want to say he's a weirdo, because he's got like 5 or 10 different genres. It seems like in one song, but he makes it all gel just perfect, and he's
Yeah.
really tight on his engineering part of it.
That helps.
But
Yeah.
he's his stuff's tight, really
Mhm.
tight, and you don't see a lot of it as tight as his stuff was, as many different time changes or whatever genres or
Yeah.
whatever he
Yeah.
put in there. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It's pretty cool what you can
Well, it
do.
has to be organic. It can't be
Yeah.
contrived. It has to be, you have
Right.
to genuinely uh be in love and be interested in these genres. You can't, I'm going to be
Right. Right.
eclectic for the sake of it. I'm going to be
Right.
weird for the sake of being weird.
Right.
Like, you just have to genuinely be kind of weird
No.
or be like really want to make, for me, I really want to make doom metal and I really
Right.
want to be a singer-songwriter. I want to really want to do all that. It wasn't an
Yeah.
idea that I came up with conceptually. I just
Totally.
slowly evolved over time. I mean, I've been making dark songs forever. Just like a lot of it was the technology piece
Hmm.
too. I would have been doing this a long time ago if my best friend was a drummer
Right.
or if I had the home studio. But as soon as
Right.
I figured out, I could be a one-man band. I can
Yeah.
do the programming and
Oh, yeah.
figure out how to do that. And I'm not a great bassist or guitar player by any stretch, but
Right.
I know enough about music.
Right.
I can do
That's
enough
cool.
bass to make it all come together as a band. So
Right on. Yeah, that's what me and Vince are gonna do. I suggested to him. He's got this great little studio on my computer that he put on, and
hmm
it's a Fender Pro Series thing or something. It's a nice
yeah,
little studio thing,
yeah.
and we're gonna like do a little segment every week to where we're gonna write a song on it and show everybody the process.
Oh, that's
Of it.
cool.
Which is it's just something different, something to throw in there.
Yeah.
But I know I'm interested in the behind the scenes part too, just as much as the making of the music, so I know I'm going to learn something from it for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, what do you play or
I'm trying to play the bass right now.
you're trying? All
Trying.
right.
I'm not
All right,
good.
well sound
I
all right.
tried. I tried to learn. I attempted to learn to play. My head was in it. Obviously my heart wasn't, and I learned a few Metallica, riffs and
Sure.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I had always had some really good guitars. I got good deals on some good guitars, and I looked good
Yeah.
with it, but I couldn't play worth a shit.
Yeah.
Now I've got a bass. I got two basses actually, and this little one right here,
Uh-huh.
this little red thing. But I pick it up every night. I
Mm-hmm.
play, for at least 30 minutes a night
Mm-hmm.
because I take care of my mom too. She's got cancer and is
Oh, I'm
not
sorry
doing
to
the
hear that.
greatest. So I take care of her mostly, but
Mm-hmm.
I plug away on it every night,
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out something. I haven't really learned any songs. I'm just trying to see what sounds good together and just
Well, that's a
learning.
great way to do it. You just
Yeah,
explore and see, and then you can find your own style or your own like
exactly,
what's
exactly.
interesting to you. Yeah.
But I've always loved the bass. It's definitely the heart of a band. To me, it is at least. I love the
Mhm.
bass.
Are you playing with a flat pick or your fingers?
Just playing with fingers right now. I'm
Right,
thinking of
right.
maybe I need to use a pick or something. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I need to try it at least, and see if I can. But I don't know. I'll,
Yeah, it's a very different beast, but since I'm a guitar player first and foremost, I play with a pick because it's just most natural.
oh yeah,
That's why most guitar players are
and that's how I played
pretend to
on.
play the bass. Like I pretend to be a bass player. I was like,
Right,
okay, I just and
right,
you play, and it's a little easier to palm mute and control string noise and
right.
and
See,
and
I'm not a good.
reverberating strings and all. You can control a little better if you're used to playing guitar with a pick. Whereas with obviously a real bass player with their fingers are able to
Right.
control all that. It's a lot harder
Yeah.
if you're
Yep.
not trained in that or if you haven't devoted the time to that technique. But yeah, with a
It's
pick, just
fun.
yeah.
It's fun. I got a little Fender amp, a little 15-watt amp or something like that, this little thing, and it provides the noise I need to make with it, at least. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. But I'm
hmm
learning.
hmm
But so is music your only career, or do you have a
Oh,
regular job? What do you do
yeah,
for
yeah,
regular work?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I teach. My main job involves teaching English to refugees and immigrants. I work at a private nonprofit that teaches all different languages.
Hmm.
I involved in the English as a second language aspect of the
Cool.
uh, school. So, that like I said, we teach other languages, also do cultural training, stuff like that. So, I talk about that every once in a while because it's informed a couple songs. In particular, that last record has the song
Mhm.
Fever Breaks, where I
Right.
just go straight down politically,
Right.
no pulling no punches.
Right.
A little bit, yeah. And when I started Buzzard, I never really expected it to be that protesty.
Right.
Never really thought of it as protest music
Right.
per se. My elevator pitch was, what if Bob Dylan listened to Black Sabbath and read H.P. Lovecraft? And that was
I
kind of my
saw that. I
aesthetic.
love that
Yeah,
description.
well, I didn't mean it as a contrived way. It just happened naturally, organically.
Mhm.
Over time, I realized that like I wanted to do doom riffs. I like the Dylan style of lyric writing, whether or not it has a social relevance or social
Right.
commentary in it. And then I like horror and weird fiction,
Mhm.
eldritch,
Right.
beasts with tentacles, and I wanted to
Right.
like I put all that together somehow.
Right.
And it just kind of unleashed all these songs. And at first, there was a lot more witches and zombies.
Right.
But then as the world just keeps turning to shit, I'm just like, this is such a great venue because you can say anything in the context of
Right.
these arrangements. You can be sarcastic, angry,
Right.
funny. You can be a little highfalutin. You can do some low humor.
Right.
It's this canvas where you can just say. I feel like more and more I can just say anything I want.
Right.
When you can mix in metal riffs with different arrangements. I mean, I listen to a lot of progressive rock too, and though I don't necessarily have the chops to do it, you can kind of hear those influences coming
Sure.
in the
Oh yeah.
arrangements stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
So I feel like
Definitely.
you can say more and more. And so when it came to Fever Breaks, that was a very visceral reaction to the event in the news because one of the students that was um, scooped up by ICE was on the street. It was a national story. A
Hmm.
Turkish woman. She was a former student of mine. So
Hmm.
there's something that it
Now
was a
it's
visceral
personal.
reaction.
Yeah.
It was, and also it like I remember looking at the video and it just hit me in a way on a gut level. It wasn't like, oh, this is wrong and I'm going to write a song about it. Just like
Right.
I needed an event. I didn't even think I was going to put out the song. I just recorded it and I'd be like, I had this like, oh, what if it was kind of like a Woody Guthrie kind of Pete
Hmm.
Seeger song, like come gather around good people. But what if it just got really severe in its politics, like unapologetic, like cathartic,
Right.
like just saying things that I wouldn't really say in public. And then like
Yeah.
put it in a song. And then ironically, I'm like, well, I would never say these things in public, but I guess I'll say them to everybody in the
You're right.
song.
Right. Right. Right on.
And I had some encouragement from a couple friends. I was like, sometimes you just gotta say fuck you. It's not the
Hmm.
only thing you'll say.
Right.
It's so I was like, all right, I'll put it out there. And it was a lot of ironically, it's got all this anger and bile, but it's fun to come up with these
Oh, I
rhymes. They're
bet.
just kind of like
I bet.
machetes, like
Yep. Exactly. You'll feel it.
yeah,
I can
right. Because
feel
I'm
it.
not, I can't, I'm just a little guy. I have the power of words and the
Really.
pen is the only power
Yeah.
I have in this world. I don't have money or physical strength. So at
Right.
least I can, you
Well,
know,
you know,
cut a
you
few
know, it
rhymes.
opens up people's eyes and ears to things that are happening, and I'm a big guy. I don't like to watch the news because I think most of it's bullshit, or
Yeah. Uh-huh.
already pre-made for them to say.
hmm
I don't know. There's lots of weird stuff going on, with news and stuff, and I don't tend to believe what unless I see it,
hmm
happening. I don't necessarily believe what the people, some of them are saying on there, like
Yeah.
newscasters
Uh-huh.
and stuff. And
It's hard to know exactly what's going on. You
yeah,
can't. get immersed in social media either, because I
Yeah,
mean, how much of it
exactly.
is how much of it is just are just bots?
Yeah.
And how many times have we gotten outraged by a statement or a post and it wasn't even a human, and we're
Hmm.
imagining a human say like, "What a piece of shit
Right.
that said that," and like, no, it wasn't a person that said it was just a bot that's trying to
Right.
rally you up because it
Exactly.
engages clicks or tears your society apart for the
Yep.
benefit of others.
Yep.
So
That's horrible.
yeah, well.
But it is what it is right now, unfortunately,
Yeah, yeah. It takes a lot of diligence to try to ferret out
for sure.
what the truth and also some humility. Be like,
Right.
well, I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong. I got to check my own biases, check my own prejudice.
Right.
Um, but like I said, like in terms of the music I'm making, a lot of it is not, I mean, all of it, it's not pre-calculated protest. It's just what's on my mind. So I'm just
Right.
venting. I
Right.
don't, and I'm just saying it. And I'm like, maybe I'll put it out, maybe I won't. But it just feels good. Some of it's primal
Yeah.
screen therapy, I guess.
Oh yeah, totally. I bet. I bet. I
Yeah,
get that.
verbally. Yeah.
I know if I'm not going to see a show, I've been having myself twice a week. I turn on YouTube, I find a
Mhm.
concert that I want to go see,
Oh, that's a
and
great idea.
I
Yeah.
just turn the lights off in my shop and studio here, and I'll find myself standing up, raising the devil
That's
horns all the
awesome.
time, during these shows I watch. But it cures the Jones a lot for me, a little bit at least,
Yeah. It sounds
That's
like a good mental health practice too, in terms
it's
of
not
being in the
terrible.
moment.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're in the moment. You're not just scrolling and be like, I'm going to
Right.
watch 30 seconds of this concert and 30
Right.
seconds of that
Right.
concert, or I'm just going to go song to song. I'm going to know I'm
I
just
got to
still
sit there and watch it.
vicarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
It's the
lock the
longer
shop
attention
up,
span.
turn it,
Mhm.
not answer the door, and just crank it up as loud
Oh,
as I
that's a
can
good idea.
go. And just,
I haven't done that in a long time,
it's
man.
fun. It's fun. I see a lot of good bands now. That I know some of them I won't
Yeah.
get to see. Like, I don't think I'm going to get to see Megadeth now, probably because
No.
which would be a good one to go see. It's one I haven't
I
seen
saw
before.
them on Open Up for Heaven and Hell
Oh, wow.
with Dio. Yeah, I
That's
saw that
cool.
tour.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah, Dio, I would have loved to have seen for
Dave
sure.
Mustaine is one of my few brushes with fame. When I was in high school, I saw their tour with Sanctuary.
Okay, I remember them.
Remember?
That's old.
Yeah.
That's old
And
school right there.
Laurel Dane was like the band Nevermore, who's
Yeah.
one of my favorite singers. I can't sing it anyway like him, but weird little ways it
Right.
influences my delivery. The way he's so on the nose and
Mhm.
so fucking earnest.
Right.
And killer pipes.
Right on.
But yeah, so and afterwards I met, quote unquote, met Dave Mustaine, whatever. He was fucking wasted. And I was just hanging around backstage
Right.
or behind the venue like a fanboy, just kind of
Right.
lurking around
Totally.
as a teenager. And he just stood there. And I wish to this day I could remember what he said because I was great show. And I
Right.
shook his
Right.
hand. And he made a snarky comment about Bon Jovi, like he's some kind of anti Bon Jovi,
Right.
because that was part of the dividing lines back then, right? Is that
Right.
you're true and genuine, not a poser if you're into
Right.
thrash. And if you're
Right.
into Bon Jovi, then you're a poser and blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Totally.
It was some kind of anti-poser dig. I wish I had written it down. I could look in my teenage journal and know
Right.
what Dave Mustaine said to me, but it was funny. I
That's
remember
cool.
laughing and telling the story for a few years before I forgot it. Like I haven't
I
thought about that
I
in a while.
won the Father's Day contest out of Spokane's Rock 945, and
Congratulations.
I got to know those guys real well, the DJs and stuff, man.
Hmm.
I won the tickets to see, it was either Kiss and Meet 'em or Five Finger Death Punch, and you get a signed guitar and backstage and all that stuff. And
Okay.
I automatically went for Kiss, for
I
sure.
would think
And
so. I wasn't going to
and
leap in unless,
I've seen him 12
Right.
times,
Okay.
so I definitely, they're part of my history for sure.
Hmm.
But I get to meet him, and I shake hands with Gene at the end there, and I give him my cousin's CD because my cousin couldn't go with me. So I gave him his CD because I know he listens to
Hmm.
every bit of music he gets. And
Okay, that's very classy.
shook
Yeah.
his hand, and all I could get out was "Thank you for the music. I love you." he looked
All
at
right. Yeah.
he looked at me all weird, but I just shrugged my shoulders and go, "It's all I got."
I'm sure he's heard that,
Oh, I'm sure
he knows what
from all the schoolgirls back in the
well,
70s,
yeah.
maybe, but but no. It was
Yeah,
pretty
you
cool though.
understand those. Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
neat. Uh,
Yeah, that's fun.
so what was the last show you went to? Concert?
Immolation.
Immolation.
Went to the Immolation Riding Christ Behemoth tour in Worcester, Mass. Um, yeah, I love Immolation. Went with a buddy of mine.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I say I like the other two bands. Probably Behemoth's the second one. They're not as much my cup of tea. Um, but Immolation
Right
was
on.
awesome. And there's some good shows in Worcester at the Palladium. That's in Central Mass. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't really know Mass. So the
I
way
don't
Matt,
know Massachusetts.
yeah, it's kind of like there's Western Mass, which is kind of like a blue bubble. It's
Right.
very
Okay.
it's kind of its sister city, like say Berkeley, California, or Portland,
Mhm.
Oregon, for that
Right.
matter. There's Northampton.
Sure.
There's the five colleges, so there's a lot of universities.
Okay.
Then Central Mass is Worcester. That's more working class. And then you go out east, and then you got Boston, and Boston is
Right.
Boston. And
Right.
then there's Cape Cod and the South
Right.
Shore. I'd like those four areas. I would
Okay.
say, just generally speaking, would be how you'd look at it. So I'm in the Western Mass,
Right
and
on.
sometimes we go out to shows in Boston as well.
How far away is that from you? How far is Boston from you?
Yeah, 2 hours,
Oh, okay.
depending where you go, because it's a tough city to drive in. So if you're just
Right.
swooping into a show in Cambridge, you can do it in like about 2 hours. But if you got to go down in the financial district or
Right.
where right now
So it take
downtown,
you a little while longer.
yeah, it's a clusterfuck all around.
Right.
A lot of one-way streets and traffic, and I
Right.
don't recommend driving there. And if you have to
I
visit, I don't know. It's
don't
an odd
recommend it.
aggro city. Yeah, I lived
Right.
there for like 10 years, so
Really?
I know Boston pretty well.
Okay.
So I feel somewhat maybe entitled to, cast a few aspersions. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you live in a city, you go,
Right.
you know what I'm
Totally.
saying?
Right.
It's a cool city overall. I like it, and we love visiting. It's like we like visiting more than we liked living there. This
Right.
is true for a lot of cities, right?
Right.
And it's insanely expensive.
Oh, I
But so is
bet.
Portland.
Portland's really expensive. The Northwest
Yeah,
is crazy on
yeah.
everything. It's really sucks, And the little town I'm in, it's the second biggest city in Oregon land wise.
Okay.
It's got
The
almost
real
as much
estate.
land as Portland does,
Wow.
and they're starting to build here a lot, up on the little road behind my house. They've got a big area clear cut. They're going to put 6,000 people in there, and it's not as big an area as you'd think, and
Yeah.
it was 2,200 people when I went to high school, and that was many, many moons ago. That's 40 years ago, and it's like at 7,000 now. It's just everything. They're building everything around here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. I'm gonna have to Google it. But you asked me about shows when I was in Portland. We went to a show, and it's um, Uda Plotkin, the former singer for Witch Mountain's current band, and it starts with an L, and I'm totally spacing on the name. We went to see them,
Right on.
and they're kind of they remind me of like Hammer of Misfortune, another band that I really like. Starts with the L. It's here it is. And I can't read the logo. Like first thing I see is a logo. Lividus. That's it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Yeah, yeah.
Leviticus.
No, it's
Okay.
not. That would
Okay.
be a pretty rad name. Uh,
Okay.
no, yeah, maybe it's pronounced Levitus, Lividus.
Okay.
I don't know, but they were great.
Right
They have
on.
they have a record coming out on Nameless Grave Records. I saw because
Right
when I
on.
went to see them, they had MP3s out, but they hadn't put it out on any physical media. So I'm excited to get that.
Right on.
He's
Yeah, I
got a
got
great, great
check
voice.
out this band called Axe Master out of
Axe Master.
they're out of Ohio,
Hmm.
and they just put out they Joe just put out got his record yesterday from the record company. They had a big deal where they were trying to raise some money so they could get their record made and stuff. And this guy's
Hmm.
like he's a rock soldier. He's been trudging with the same band since like 82, I think he started this band.
Nice.
And they're pretty hard and but they're good. He's a really
Hmm.
good guitarist and he's a pretty cool cat, really cool cat. Like, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
he's pretty neat.
a trooper, a lifer,
Yeah,
since
he's definitely a
it's
lifer, a rock soldier
it
for
was
sure.
early.
But he was so happy yesterday. They had a little live thing on Facebook, and I watched it, and he was so happy his record came out and stuff, and it was pretty
What's
cool.
the label?
Um,
Oh,
I
so just right
I
now.
I can I can send it to you. I cannot
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
just
not
curious.
Napalm. It's someone I can't remember. They have
That's
Wasp
huge.
on the place has Wasp on their
Oh, that's great.
which is pretty cool, So it's not a small company, I don't
Now
think.
there's a throwback. They're still
Yeah,
kicking it.
I know. I missed the Portland show. I was so mad. I wanted to see them so bad. They were cool back in the day, you know.
Yeah, I kind of lost track of them. I knew they were still out.
Yeah.
Blackie Lawless was still active, but
I guess
it,
the show was excellent. I watched it on YouTube and somebody filmed it there, and it was pretty good. They sounded really good.
I think the legacy bands, if they're still performing,
Mhm.
they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be good.
Oh yeah.
Maybe if they've disappeared for a while and they're still kind of green and kind of
Right.
finding their sea legs again, I can
Right.
understand that. It's just so hard as you get older to keep up with those bands because
Right.
I listen to new music too. Like I'm
Exactly.
always
Exactly.
like, how do you? There's a
The
lot
re
of bands for they've put out 5 reunion albums at this
right.
point, and like at one point, whatever. I was
Right.
listening to
Right. I get what you're
Testament
saying.
constantly when I was a kid, and now I'm like, how many? They got so many reunion
I
albums. I'm like,
know.
I've checked them all out, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you're talking about, you sit down and you watch a concert, right?
Right.
I mean, I feel like I haven't heard an album since I've sat down and just listened to it, like
Right.
beginning to end. And how often do we really have a chance to do that?
Not very often
No.
anymore, unfortunately.
So when you do, you're like, do I devote that time to a new band
Right.
that I've checked out and I know I like it, or do I go to an old favorite, or am I exploring new old music? Because I'm a
Right.
vinyl collector too, so I keep discovering old progressive rock bands
Sure. Sure.
and I'm like, oh, that's good thing about those though is that they're on vinyl and they're usually like 30, 35 minutes. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, I can handle this. But you get these modern metal albums can be
Some of them a
45, 50.
long time on there,
I'm like, yeah.
20
I try to
million
be mindful
songs,
of that, but I get it though. If you got a lot of material, you're excited to share it. And I mean, my album Mean Bone is too long, 13 songs. It's like 55 minutes. I knew it was too. I was like, but that's
That's
everything I wanted to say on it. It needed all the songs. Every time I'd take one off, I'd be like, yeah, but it's needed as I know it's way too self-indulgent and way up my own butt to be like that. But I'm like, it's my music.
right.
I'm not on a label. I just do it. And now that people have been saying they want it on vinyl, I'm like, yeah, but it has to be a double vinyl,
Right.
and that's a tall order. I mean, just
Yeah.
for an independent artist to invest in that.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I've talked to Timmer. He has his own record company out here in Portland.
Hmm.
Lightning and Novato Records is what it's called. And
Nice.
he's
I'll write that
mostly
down.
blues stuff on there, but he's got
Hmm.
like 40 different bands on there now. And I'm going to try to do a little compilation record thing. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, kind of
Uh-huh.
how I'm going to put it out there. But I've been going on by people's birthdays and looking back what came out the week of your birthday when you were born,
Oh, that's interesting.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
This one guy named Brandon Nerrell, he has a band called Anchored out of Texas. And he made
Okay.
a song with Snoop Dogg like 20 years ago with his band and stuff, which is cool. But I started it with him, and like with him, he had Van Halen one came out the same week he was born.
Yeah.
With a Little Luck by McCartney and Wings came out
Okay.
the day he was born. And then Saturday Night Fever went on a 7-month run or something like that at number one. So I threw him those ones, which is kind of some interesting, definitely far away from
Yeah.
each other genre wise for sure, different.
Could do
So
Staying Alive.
yeah, exactly. So I've kind of mentioned that to different people so far, and I'm going to try to instill it on here and try to make it a thing, make it happen a
Mhm.
little bit, So you'll have to give me your birthday maybe, and I'll send you some songs.
Sure.
you know, do it
Yeah.
whatever style you want, however the person wants to
Yeah, I
do
have
it.
no
I'm
idea how
okay.
that'll pan out. I don't know what came out in my
Right,
birthday week across the ages. It's been
right,
many a moon
yeah.
since then. So
Yeah, I know that. Me too. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So lightning and I just wrote that down.
Yeah, Timber Blakely
Yeah.
is such a cool dude. He's got his hat in every arena out there, doing constantly doing stuff. Teaches at a little music school in Cedar Hills, which is outside of Portland, and
Okay.
they do all facets of music and behind the scenes and stuff. And he's told me like how much records cost, literally, how much it would cost to print it up, blah blah blah,
Yeah, yeah.
which is cool. So I've got an idea. I think it might be a good, cool idea, something fun for sure.
Hmm.
So we'll
Hmm.
see. But so what do you got going on for the future? What do you got? You working on anything new or?
Yeah, I got lots of stuff. Like I was saying, like the possibilities of just mashing up all this stuff, it's just so much fun.
Oh
So,
yeah.
in June, I'm putting out another single. I've been putting out singles through the year between albums. So in June, there's a song called Hillbilly Fuckery, and the B-side is Appalachian Blood Bourbon. The latter is, yeah, well, I'm not going to spoil it. You can kind of
That's
start to guess
cool.
what it's about. But Hillbilly Fuckery is so here's the thing I
Yeah.
did is I put out an all call like my Bandcamp followers and on social
This
media.
is my buddy Vince.
Hey,
Vince,
what's
this
up?
is,
How
Oh,
you
this
doing,
is
Vince,
man?
Chris.
welcome. Hey
My name
there.
is Chris.
Chris.
Cool. My
Yeah,
brother's
nice to
name,
meet
easy
you.
to remember.
Okay. You can
Yeah.
call me brother as well.
All
So,
right. I'll do
hey
that, man.
bro.
All right.
So, did this all call inviting people to send in a recording of themselves saying what the fuck, like on their
Okay. I
phone,
saw
and
that.
just say it, yeah, right, any way you want. I got about 50 all told, I got about 50 entries. I'm using all of them
Right
and
on.
mixing them into the song.
I
So
think I think I sent one to you on that.
okay, all
I
right.
think I
So all
think I
right, you're
did. Lesson
okay.
from the thank you box is what it
All
came
right.
from.
Okay. I'll check. And if I don't, it's not too late. I'm
I
still
will I
tweaking the
will
mix.
do another one in case.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
What key's the
So
song in?
this is the thing. I do have a couple friends that are coming in because it's a gang chorus. It does, especially in the outro, it repeats what the fuck again and again. I got a couple people came in and timed it. But what I wanted from people is it's just
The
from the
raw one.
soul, from the world,
Yeah.
whatever. However, what's your way of saying? And the more I kind of like each one's different, like almost like a thumbprint,
Right.
like unique as a snowflake, right? Everyone's what the
Yeah.
fuck was
Yeah.
different. It almost turned into like a anthropological research project or psychological survey. Like, what the fucks from around the world? I feel like this could
Something to
turn
be learned from this.
right, right. And it was interesting too, because it's like some are angry, some are silly, some are quiet, some are loud. Some people just went all in with their death metal voice
Right.
screaming. Some people were like blasé, like, what the fuck? Some people were like, right? So the way the song is, I'm gonna put out two versions. I'll have one with just the gang chorus without all the other
The
ones.
clean version.
Well, that would be nothing
It's
but
the
beeps.
radio friendly version. What the fuck?
This is
What the what the
yeah.
crud?
No, this is radio hostile. This is radio hostile. This is not.
Right.
So there's basically two parts. Like there's this long outro where I rant and rave about the world, and I keep saying what the fuck, and everyone else is like ping ponging around all these what the fucks,
Right.
like the pet sounds of what the fuck, right? But then there's going to be an outro after the song stops of over a minute sound collage of all of them together
That's
in
cool.
different, again, kind of ping ponging, except there's no music.
Cool.
And that's an immersive
That could be
experience. I
great.
think it's very interesting.
You
Yeah.
can use the what the fucks as a beat.
There's another part of me. If I had all the time in the world, and maybe over time I could just start using them as samples and like
Yeah.
develop that and just have a whole album of what the fuck remixes.
Right? The whole album could
Right, right. Extended dance track and
Right.
disco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
So,
on. That's good.
so I'm still doing that. I haven't completely decided, but I think I'll put out a 7-inch of it. Maybe like make 50 copies, sign them and make them hand numbered. Put
Let me
the
know. I want one of
B-side.
them for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then after that, I have another LP planned for the fall. So come July, I'll start kind of putting out a few singles from that leading up to an October release. The album's called Hush Now. And
Are
that's,
you a band or is it just you doing all
yeah,
this?
it is just me. I use drum programming. I can't play drums,
Right,
but I
me
play
too.
all the other
Same
instruments.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. I use Easy Drummer 3. It gets it done.
Yeah, me
The
too.
cymbals are a little annoying, I noticed.
Well, you
They're
can
always
work on
either
it.
too high or you tamed it down too
Well,
much.
you have to, yeah, you can go and you can tweak it. I upgraded my studio last year so that I can do a lot more mixing inside the DAW. Like before, I would create the drum track, export it into the song, so that once I exported it, I couldn't fix it unless I went back to the other program,
Yeah,
fixed
you'd
it,
be
and
turning the
imported
whole
it.
song down
And you're
like
going
if you wanted.
back and forth,
Yeah,
and it's doable, and I did it, and it's time consuming, but and also the song would evolve. Like I realized that the kick drum pattern doesn't work with the riff as the riff gets tweaked in the
yeah.
arrangement. Because some of these songs I end
At
up,
least you can hear that.
yeah,
Some people
well,
can't hear that. They just think you do the kick and the snare and they got nothing to do with the song. It's like, dude,
yeah.
you gotta
I'm not saying I'm
I'm looking for a
infallible.
specific beat
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Right. So I'll do that, but now I can tweak the drum patterns inside the program live with not live, but like with the song. And so I can
Right.
change the guitar part, change it, or I mean, I'll just work on something tonight. And I like the drum pattern in the bridge just wasn't working. So I was, you can go in and edit the beats. I was rearranging the kick and I was taking out a lot of the ghost notes from the snare. Still
Yeah.
wasn't working. And so I just started from scratch with a new beat. And sometimes I just write it from nothing. You just go in with a kick, especially if it's simpler.
Yeah. If you got a controller or like a MIDI controller or whatever.
I
I don't
know
even
you
have
can do
that.
that.
I
I'm kind of a Luddite a little bit. It depends on the thing, but there's sometimes I just like doing it old school because I'm more engaged in it. So, and I can really think about it. And so I go in and I can analyze it and then put it in
oh
the
yeah.
grid.
Well, it makes you
Um,
keep it simple that way too. It's right to the bare bones. Like when you're using
yeah,
a mouse to
yeah,
hit a kick drum
yeah.
snare,
But and
it's on a
part of it is
different.
part of being a little lazy because that's a whole learning curve. I have to figure out how to sync, and I have a really quirky equipment. It crashes a lot, like so I have to do all that. Sometimes I'm just like I'm just gonna, you know, it's kind of the kind of thing. Rather than do the punch, I'm just gonna do the whole thing again, or rather, instead of um coming up with the easy way to do it, I'm gonna do the hard way because I know the hard way. And the easy way, I still is going to be hard to learn it. So for now,
So it's
it's
not
like
as
being
easy.
lazy, making yourself work harder because you're lazy.
Yeah.
So, but part of it is just a learning curve of like, I'll give you an example. I didn't know for years of recording, I could deal with popped P's by putting on a low end filter. So if you're singing, you got a pop P.
Oh
I would go
yeah.
into, yeah. So I
And
would
the
go into the
S's,
perfect, yeah. And the
like the S
syllabus,
sound, there's just
yeah,
that big nose
yeah,
dive right in like the 5,000, whatever,
right.
7,000 range.
Yeah, right. But with the pop Ps were the worst. And I'd actually go in and I'd go into the WAV file right to the pop P and do like a mini EQ on it or trim the volume so you couldn't hear it. Like, and that might take me like a half hour. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I know you can't hear it anymore. I fixed it. But like now I'm like, oh, 1 second, I just put the
Yeah. I
low
still do
end
it that
filter.
way. I spread it out,
Yeah.
cut it from the rest
Yeah.
of the vocal line, and then turn that way down. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
but the low shelf filter do it. The sibilance is a lot harder, and I don't have good monitor speakers, and also sibilance varies a lot more from speaker system to speaker system. Like I'll
oh,
think I'll have no sibilance, and then I'll listen to like a very crispy system, and
right.
I'm like, oh wait a minute, and then you're always bouncing back and forth. But a
Yeah.
pop P is a pop P. You're no escaping it.
Yeah. It even makes like the
Pop.
EQ jump for the whole song. It's like
Yeah.
a big bass drum all of a sudden comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's distracting. It takes you out
Yeah.
of the song for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
But
So
wow,
you,
the getting into the weeds of some of the recording, yeah. But that's how it is. I think it's an interesting challenge,
oh,
and
it's tough.
yeah, and
It's hard to
I
listen
don't
to it.
pretend to make audiophile recordings, but um, I like to think the aesthetic, the recording quality fits the material. Like
Yeah, I
you know,
noticed your stuff sounded pretty good.
it's not like
Good for what
it.
you, I mean, it's good. That's a good sound.
It is what it like it is. It's like you can make it better and make it worse. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can
Usually
like
you can ruin a good song. Like when I
You
would
take
try to
out.
master, dude, oh my God, the mastering was so difficult. I'm just
Yeah.
guessing at it, I'm tweaking stuff left and right, and it's just like, wow, that sounds like shit. You
I'm
shouldn't turn too much stuff at all,
you
or
could, yeah. If you're going to,
yeah,
especially, yeah, if you invest, I feel strongly that if you're going to invest in physical media for some of your music, you should just bring in a mastering engineer. If you just want to do it for online, because everyone online is listening with craft speakers anyway, and you can always change it. And I've done that a million times. I go on Bandcamp and I tweak my master and I put up the latest
put
version.
it, yeah, replace file and stuff.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
I'll replace the file. Um, Especially if you're cutting vinyl, of course, you need someone who can go in and EQ it right, and you have to put the 40 megahertz or kilohertz mono,
Yeah.
so to make that you got all those little
Oh,
tricks that I
wait,
get
what?
it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. When
Oh,
you do, yeah, 40 or less bass,
it
it
has to
needs to
be
be in
mono.
mono. Yeah, it needs to,
Oh, wow.
especially yeah, because it'll make it can theoretically. I don't know how much it happens in reality, but it's a thing that I learned about. I can't execute that, but I would defer to the ears and the knowledge of a mastering engineer for that. But I was just going to say, I learned the value of mastering a long time ago, 25 years ago. I took in a record, it's a total folk record, but it had a big arrangement. I doubled the acoustic guitars, there was the mandolin, it was full band arrangement. Um, and I thought sounded great, sounded good. Taught the mastering engineer, $10,000 room, $1 million ears. It was like $800 for the experience. And this was like 25 years ago. But he was listening to it and it's like, oh, your guitars are out of phase. Your engineer totally fucked up. And I was like, what? I don't hear anything. But then he went in and fixed the out of phase guitars, which you can apparently fix when you're mastering. You should fix it when you're mixing it. But he fixed out of phase guitars, and I 100% heard the difference. I would never in a million years guess there's anything wrong. And then, but he heard it, and then he heard it. I was they're mashed up a little bit in the middle, and then he did me an A B, and I'm like, that's why you pay $800 to mastering engineer. They hear what's wrong with it that you don't know. You don't notice it. You don't know the
Yeah,
difference. But when he fixed it, I was like, yeah, holy shit, yeah,
yeah,
those
that's
guitars
awesome.
are out of
Someone
phase.
can do that.
I know. I was in
Really
awe,
looks
and I was
like,
like, very humbling experience too. And I
yeah.
try to keep that in mind now.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
also
remember
like,
what it sounds like, the out of phase? Because I'm not sure what
I
people talk about
know.
when they talk about that. It's like,
In that case, it was a very subtle difference. I have heard things that are out of phase that sound bad, and yeah, you can. There are obvious. It just sounds squashed, and it's kind of you'll learn it.
that
Uh,
robotic sound, almost
yeah,
like it's got
you
some
you
weird.
know one way that you can emulate how it sounds is like say do a vocal take and then just duplicate the track and pan them left and right, and it doesn't happen every time, but it happens a lot where they're out of phase and it sounds metallic, it sounds like a tin can. They sound very flat, sounds squashed. You
Stuff like
obviously
that.
sounds wrong. um it even doesn't sound as loud. It gets, at least sometimes for me, it sounds a little quieter, or at least the same volume, even though you've doubled the track. And you
Wow.
look at them and you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds off. And you delete the one and you're like, now you're back to your original single track.
How
Um,
come? What makes it do that? Just the frequency it's
it
on?
yeah, they misalign. You could see it in the wave file. I think there's a way to visually tell, but I don't have the expertise to do that. Um,
Huh.
Now I've heard I've caught a couple times, not with the Buzzard music, but I almost put out a song where I had double acoustic guitars are out of phase, and it was actually one guitar part, but I had a double line. It was a direct line and a mic'd line, which is to me, at least at this like non-audiophile phase of recording, is the best way. You get the best of both worlds, especially if you're singing at the same time, because you're going to have the vocal bleed into the guitar mic. And so
Yeah.
you can kind of balance it and minimize it so there's not too much of the icky, not good sounding vocal bleed. The two guitars are out of phase because it's the same guitar part. So the wave files, the waveforms are identical. And if they match wrong, then it's going to be out of
How do
phase.
they match
I
wrong? They're
almost put it out.
identical.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not prepared. I didn't know I was going to be talking about this.
That's where,
If I'd boned up on it, I might have a better way of articulating it, but I don't quite have the at the ready an elevator pitch on things that are out of phase. But but your DAW is going to have invert phase function.
yeah, it does
So
have that.
yeah, and so I often double check if I double something or if I have a guitar part, I'll just A B, and at the very least you could be like, what sounds better? Because maybe the one side of phase
Yeah,
or
I
something.
know. Even if it doesn't need it, it sounds better out of phase or something like
I
that.
don't know. Well,
Yeah.
interesting. I just remembered. I remember reading. You guys know, Celtic Frost to Megatherion, of course. And apparently those guitars are out of phase because I was reading an interview or something about the most recent
Really?
Celtic Frost remasters. Which again, is it Celtic Frost or Celtic Frost? I've asked a
I
million people
I
and
I
no
always
one's
said
sure.
Celtic.
I always said
Me too.
Celtic.
I always said Celtic, and then someone was correcting me because it's I don't know. So I grew up saying Celtic Frost. So okay, we'll go back to that. Um, but those guitars are out of phase, and then the guy for the recent remasters, I don't know his name, but plays in Triptychon. He's one of the maybe the guitar player.
Wow.
Did the remasters and fixed the out of phase. Um, which again, it's hard to do as a mastering engineer, but apparently you can. I have no idea how they do that. Um, and you can hear the difference, but it's completely subjective whether you think it sounds better. I mean, have you heard the most recent
No,
remasters?
I have not. I
You
have
know,
not.
they sound more modern. They're a lot louder without being squashed.
Is it
I mean, they
Christopher?
sound great, but you
Oh,
hear that old gnarly, that old gnarly Celtic Frost
oh
sound.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Megatherium. But in a
Yeah.
way, they sound a little thin, I guess. But that's part of what I grew up. Like I'm used to that. Like it should sound thin. It makes it sound more dynamic and it more with the bass and the
It's that
drums.
death
It's
metal pedal through a
yeah,
Marshall or something. That's all they had back
right,
in the day, you know?
right, right.
So do you play live? You do live
Uh,
stuff?
not Buzzard. I'm still, I played solo acoustic folk music for many years. When I was younger, I started off doing humorous songs. That's the first thing I was good at, or seemed to get positive feedback from it being
Right.
funny because I'm more of a wordsmith than a musician or singer. So that started off like that, and then got better and could do some moderately quote unquote serious songs. And then around 2000, I met my current partner, Lisa, and she sings. She has an amazing voice and an incredible harmonizer. So we started working together as a duo, Austin and Elliott. And
Mhm.
that stuff, the humor it's like it's irrelevant. I could still be clever and witty a little bit, but um, it was more musical too because now I got two voices, and then we could do these harmonies, which allowed me to be more musical, which allowed me to be darker and tell stories um, that where everyone dies at the end, right? And it's our uh, our elevator pitch for that was like songs about love gone wrong and death done right. And I was like,
That's
so
awesome.
that got darker. You can kind of see the path to
Oh yeah.
Buzzard. And so I was like, that got darker and darker. And we got better at that. And so we played live a lot. And again, before when I was doing solo stuff, I performed a lot around Cambridge, never traveled or toured outside of New England.
Yeah.
It's like there's a certain circuit, right? I never got above the opener or headliner at like a coffee shop or Unitarian church basement
Right.
sometime. But
That's
even
Right.
headlining, I know, right? But
all
like
they got
never,
out there, honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Unitarian.
Unitarian, right, right,
Uh,
right.
yeah, you don't have an accent. Is that Massachusetts doesn't have accents,
Oh,
really?
I grew up in Binghamton, in upstate New York.
Oh,
So I'm not. There's a little bit of a little bit accent depends on what side of the tracks you're on and blah blah
right.
blah. But and I don't return there very often. But I know if I went and hung out with some high school buddies, I'd start just being a little more. I don't know. It's a kind of a mumbly inward. I think it's descended a little bit from some of the Italian immigrants, but
Huh.
yeah, kind of it's a little bit Midwest. It's a little bit not I don't know. It's hard to say. We're like a working class accent, a little bit rural. It's a little blend of all that because there's a lot of farms out there as well.
Oh, that's a rural part, huh?
Yeah, Binghamton is well, it gets rural fast. I mean, upstate New York is mostly like farmland. There's college towns, but then there's the Adirondack Mountains and there's
Right.
little pockets of money there. But a lot of it's
Oh yeah,
farmland.
the Adirondacks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's normal people in these big cities. They're just out right outside of them. You know, regular working. Yeah.
Right, right.
Right on.
Yeah, cool.
You got anything else you'd like to say?
Oh,
Anything?
it's been fun chatting. Thanks for having me
Awesome.
on. And like I
Appreciate you
said,
coming on. For
yeah,
sure.
we'll have hillbilly fuckery coming up.
Like
Yeah.
Billy
And
fucking.
I
What's the
mean,
Appalachian one
Yeah,
again?
what's that?
Appalachian Blood,
This
what?
says App Blood.
Appalachian Blood Bourbon
Bourbon, that's
That's
LLC.
right.
bourbon.
Yeah. Um.
There's this
So yeah.
band called Scattered Hamlet, and they're from like the Appalachians there, and they're
Oh,
kind of
okay.
they're southern hard southern rock,
Uh-huh.
not like really
Southern
super hard
metal.
southern
They're
metal,
pretty,
yeah, metal,
they're heavier than Skinner
Yeah.
than like
right.
38 Special and shit
And
like that. Yeah.
they have so much comedy in their tunes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
They talked about they got a song called Stonewall Jackson, and it's a
Yeah.
spot in the Appalachian Mountains where the kids could go get their liquor,
Yeah.
being underage and shit.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
totally is it sounds very similar to Hillbilly Fuckery. It's really a lot of the song just my backstory, and it's basically true. It's exaggerated
right.
a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm part of Hillbilly.
Well,
I don't know
I'm
because I
gonna
know
let them
that's
know
a
when you got it coming out. I'm gonna let them know about it
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
cool people. They love it.
Yeah, we've definitely had a lot. I mean, my mother's side of the family, she's the daughter of a dairy farmer. Uh, so and there's like I said, there are a lot of dairy farms in
Right,
that area. And definitely growing up, we lived not off the grid, but like where the cable doesn't run. Like
right,
we're
right,
3 miles from a shopping mall, but I
right.
was putting tin foil on
Exactly
top of the
everywhere.
on the antenna. Well, not I
Not on
probably
your
was
head.
putting some on my head and I didn't know it, but I was putting tinfoil on the like the TV
The
antenna
rabbit
to
ears.
get Godzilla movies out of Scranton. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh
like
yeah. Right on.
that's the kind of place it was. So, I a lot of that song, the song does get pretty political. But it starts off as kind of like reflecting on growing up.
Yeah.
Um,
Right
uh,
on.
I literally sat with a guy on the school bus who I'm swearing to God, looked exactly like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. And we listened to Ozzy in the back of the school bus. And the song, and no, I'm telling 100%. You're like, you would be like, oh, if you saw me, you'd be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like when I first saw Beavis and Butthead, I saw Butthead. I was like, oh, dude, it's the guy I used to listen to Ozzy with in the
You
back of the
grew
bus.
up.
I grew up with that guy. Which says something about me that was my choice of seatmate. Like, I guess I was Beavis then. In the song, I call him Beavis just because it sounds better in the song. But it's just distracting to say the word butthead. It doesn't sing well, and
Right, it doesn't.
yeah, no. That's what the kind of changes you make in a song, though. Like what works as a lyric, but what's true to the spirit of the experience.
The spirit is right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
spirit of the
gotta elaborate a little. You gotta go outside the line, make it
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping people dig that, and and
Yeah.
also just kind of, yeah, people get tickled by the audience participation aspect.
Yeah.
That
The
is
anthropological, psychological research
exactly.
project of how everyone says what the fuck differently.
Right on.
All
Right on.
right,
Well,
all right, guys.
I'm really glad you came on today.
Thanks, man.
You it's definitely
Cheers.
a different sound than I'm used to for anything, for sure.
Yes.
And I like it a lot,
Thanks. Well, I got a lot more. I'm going to keep putting it out till I wear out
That's
my
cool.
welcome because I've got like
Cool.
4 albums in the works. So
That's cool.
nothing's going
Wow.
to stop anytime soon. Yeah.
Let us know and I'll put it
Absolutely.
on my page and stuff when
Oh,
if you
excellent.
want.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
get a few
Thank
more
you.
people looking at you for sure. So I
Super.
appreciate you. Thanks for
That's
coming
fun.
on.
Great. It's a great way to spend a Wednesday evening talking to you guys. That's a lot of fun.
When will this one be ready? That hillbilly, is it Hellbilly or Hillbilly?
Hillbilly.
Hillbilly,
Regular
Hillbilly.
hillbilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Rob
good little
Zombie did the
wordplay.
Hellbilly, but
Hellbilly. That's, yeah.
yeah.
June, mid-June.
Coming right up. Cool. I'll buy it.
Or no, July. I'm sorry. Did I keep saying June? I changed it. I did. It's July.
Okay.
Scrap every time I say June. It's gonna be after the 4th of July.
Okay.
Because I think I'm gonna do it as a 7-inch.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I need some time to get that together.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be a kind of cool momentum, especially for people who contributed what the fuck.
Exactly.
Maybe
Exactly.
gotta
That's
be
cool
fun.
stuff.
Gotta fun now. And I just like the idea of, and a friend of mine, my first friend who heard it said it reminded him of the Dead Kennedys. And Dead Kennedys are a big influence, especially in terms of like the satirical angle of being punk rock.
Right.
And so I was like, like as the Buzzard as an entity should be dropping some 7 inches because that's such a like a punk thing. Or it brings me back to the day of that kind of aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Here's the 7-inch. These songs are not going to be on, or at least these versions are not going to be on anything else.
Right on. Right.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a good day.
That's it. Cool. I'll buy it. I like that sound.